What's interesting about it is like if you look at it holistically, not just the uh, how many people to kill.
They don't know because that Dr. Lena Wen, that lady, this is a very controversial thing she did recently. She went on CNN, they were talking about it, and she said they overestimated the amount of death of COVID substantially. And she's saying the actual number is probably 30% of the number that they were saying. And you could tell that people on CNN were like, what the fuck? Because this was the lady that was always like talking about how we have to vaccinate, we have to lock down. And upon examining new data, she's now saying, no, there's a giant percentage of those people were already dying from something else, died of something else, and tested positive for COVID. And that
What's up, Reddit conspiracy?
Yeah.
Reddit conspiracy. You should go on there sometime, dude. They are fucking still celebrating because, like, it's like every week something they were saying comes out, mainstream media, not from somebody who is not trusted, but someone like that.
Right.
Someone in the CDC comes out and says, actually, we were wrong, which is, I mean, I guess that's great, right?
Did you see the guy that's came out and discussed gain of function research? That was the former head of the CDC. Is that what that guy was? So you find it. I think it's former head of CDC talks about gain of function research. Was he in front of the Senate?
Yeah, man, there's a lot of vindicated people right now who like all this stuff. You're one of them. All this stuff is coming out now from the Yeah,
that's it. Antithetical to science. Ex-CDC director takes Fauci to task for suppressing lab leak theory. He said that. He took him to task for that, but then also said that what they were doing was absolutely gain of function research, and he explained it why. There's a video of him talking to, I believe he's talking to Jim Jordan. If you find that guy talking to Jim Jordan, but he explains that they were fucking around with the definitions of what's gain of function research, and he was saying what they did was definitely gain of function research. So then you have Fauci talking to Rand Paul, say, Senator, with all due respect, you do not know what you are talking about.
Right.
And he's dancing with words about the literature and the this and the that. But what Rand Paul keeps throwing at him is like, you altered these viruses to make them infect people, right? Didn't you do that?
Yeah.
That's what they did. And that's what the CDC director's saying. It's like they altered the viruses. They made them so they're more contagious.
Well, yeah. I mean, and that was the other really frustrating thing is like, I can remember in the beginning, you know, being like very, very committed to what was coming out of the propaganda. Like, I was scared. I was like frustrated with my conspiracy brothers and sisters because I'm like, no, man, come on, this is important. And I can remember, you know, being in that. I know the state of consciousness because you know, we all had. I mean, and you should, you know, initially, like, what the fuck? Have you not seen Contagion? You know how this stuff goes down. You know,
there was so much unknown.
So much.
Anybody pretending that they didn't have some anxiety about either you're ignorant to the possibilities, or you're blissfully unaware of the dangers of the world. You one of those people?
Yeah.
Or you're wrong. Because, like, it could be horrible. Like, anytime a pandemic happens, it could be horrible. We got pretty lucky with this one that sucks, but not nearly as bad as, like, the plague.
Especially because it was apparently released by a fucking necromancer. I mean, like, when you hear this shit, and you know, it's like, wait, okay, so the COVID came out of Wuhan. And I remember the first time I found out about the Wuhan Institute of Virology, because at first you didn't even know that existed. Then all of a sudden it's like, it does so happen that there is a place called the Wuhan Institute of Virology, very close to where we say it originated from. And then, of course, you put two and two together. You're like, oh, my God, it's a lab leak. It's clearly a lab leak. And then you say that. That was where the pushback started freaking me out. Because it's like, wait, I can understand right now. We don't know what this disease is. We don't know. Maybe, I don't know, do masks work? Oh, fuck it. I don't want to die. I'll put on a fucking mask. What do you want? You want to peg me if it'll keep COVID away? Go ahead. I don't know. I don't want to suffocate. I don't want to get intubated. Go ahead and peg me. Oh, it doesn't work. Peg me. But then you that suddenly the pushback to just basic like probably that, I mean, probably, right? Even like Jon Stewart. Remember when Jon
Yeah.
Stewart goes on Colbert? He's like, Wuhan. It's
Yeah.
The Wuhan Institute of. Come on, man. It was weird, right? Like
Yeah.
that was where.
Well, it became connected to Trump. That was part of the problem.
Oh, was it the China
Yeah, the
virus?
China virus.
China virus.
Yeah, it became connected to him. And if it was no one's fault, it was just some sort of a natural spillover, then everybody's okay. But what's crazy is when now these Fauci emails have come out where they now know that he commissioned a paper on dismissing the lab leak theory. That this was after they had internal discussions about whether or not they were responsible for this and whether or not the Wuhan virology lab was doing gain of function research. So they're debating this in internal emails, and then he commissions a paper to try to dismiss the lab leak theory. So he gets these scientists to go aboard with it. Even
Right.
ones, this people have fucking stepped in line in this narrative. People that initially were suspicious that it was a lab leak theory were initially contacted or somehow or another threatened or shamed or just be worried about the reputation because it was just too crazy to say it was a lab leak theory, because then you're connected to Trump, or then you're connected to racism, then you're
Right.
connected to all sorts of horrible things.
Yeah.
So just go along with the spillover. It's
Right.
possible it's a spillover. Most of these are spillovers. Let's say it's a spillover. So you go, look, it's easier for my career, my life, and my fucking sanity. The whole world wants to hear spillover. Let's just say spillover. You don't want to stick your neck out and say lab leak. A lot of people stuck their neck out and they got jabbed. They got stabbed. And I mean, people were very upset with people that didn't follow the express narrative as everybody was supposed to say. And then over time, it started to shift.
Yeah.
Now, over time, people are starting to wake up and go, well, this is why did we trust pharmaceutical companies? We never trusted them before. And all of a sudden, they're our friends. That's a crazy idea. And why are you trusting these people to just tell you what needs to be done and suppressing the voices in the scientific community of people who disagree? Like, you have to let those people talk it through publicly so we all know what the fuck is going on. Because
Yeah.
if you don't do that, then I feel like you've been captured. Because if you have the truth on your side, and if you have facts and accuracy on your side, you should be willing to publicly engage these people that have alternative perspectives, especially when they're really well credentialed. Guys like Dr. Peter McCullough or Robert Malone.
Yeah.
These people,
People
if
from
you think
Stanford.
they're dangerous, talk to them. Yeah.
Yeah. Right, man.
Talk to them and debate them and do it publicly so we can all see it. Don't just suppress their voices. And then when it turns out they're right, pretend you didn't do that.